Today we're going to be sharing all of our experiences and costs from this past month in Split, Croatia.
We're full-time travelers who have just spent a whole month in this beautiful city.
We also spent a month in Dubrovnik, so stay with us until the end of the video for a head-to-head comparison between the two.
If you've been following our videos, welcome back to another episode here in Split, Croatia. It is our very last episode here, and we'll let you know at the end of the video where we're headed to next. If you're new to our channel, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Gillian. We're a couple who sold everything we owned, packed our bags, and headed off for a life of adventure. And if you enjoy content about early retirement and travel, you can subscribe for a new video every week.
We've been enjoying an almost perfect autumn here on the coast of Croatia. We started with a month in Dubrovnik, exploring the old city and getting in some hiking and some truly epic views. We'll put a link in the description below for that video along with all the others we talk about today.
Then we did the 4-hour drive from Dubrovnik to Split along the coastal road. We had oceans on one side and mountains on the other, and the highway was basically all to ourselves. We actually had to drive through Bosnia to get to Split, but it was super easy to pass through and no one even cared to look at our passports.
Since then, we've been enjoying everything Split has to offer in November. That includes warm, sunny days, lots of beaches, historic sites, and an absolutely beautiful waterfront. In fact, if you want to see how we've been passing our time here, you can check out our Day in Split video.
So today we're going to give you the full rundown of our month here in Split, covering all of our experiences and costs. We're talking about all the good stuff: accommodations, entertainment, dining out, and more.
But first, a question for all of you. Do you have a favorite destination to chase the sun when the cold weather arrives? Let us know in the comments below.
We always like to get started with our largest expense, which is accommodations. Fortunately for us, there was a lot of availability in Airbnb, partly because of seasonality and partly because people are just not traveling these days.
We found a spacious one-bedroom we really like. It's modern and stylish with a lot of reflective surfaces in the decor. It has all the things we look for: a well-equipped kitchen with a dishwasher, which is always a bonus, a full-size fridge, washing machine, comfortable living room, and our new favorite amenity, free Netflix on the TV.
But what makes this Airbnb really great is the central location. It's close to the Green Market, where we go to buy our fruits and vegetables, and it's also close to the Old Town and Riva Promenade with its cafes and restaurants. It's also close to the beach, so we can easily head down to the water for a walk with our dogs.
With all these amenities and attractions, it wasn't the lowest priced apartment on offer, but we were satisfied with the amount that we paid, which was $1,100.
On to entertainment and activities for the month, which Split has in abundance. As usual, we enjoyed a mix of free and paid activities.
For free activities, we enjoyed hanging out at our local beach. There's usually a game or two of Pisagin, I think it's called, regardless of the temperature that day. So this is a water game that was invented here in Split and involves a ball and 5 guys apparently throwing themselves in the water.
We also hiked up R.LUM.R Park a number of times, which offers great views of Split and kilometers of trails to walk or run or bike.
And of course, there's the Split Riva, which is a really great place to have a coffee and just watch the people go by.
Of course, Split's Old Town and Diocletian's Palace is free for endless wandering around, although we did choose to do a paid tour so that we could understand the history of the palace and how the city of Split grew up around it.
I also went to the gallery of Ivan Mestrovic, which has the most significant works from this 20th century Croatian sculptor, and it was the perfect way to pass a rainy afternoon.
Split is also a great base for excursions around the area, so we rented a car a few times and headed off to explore. Krka National Park was absolutely incredible, and we saw more waterfalls there than we've ever seen in our entire lives.
We also went to Klis Fortress, which provides an incredible view of the entire area, and we poked around the extensive Roman ruins at Salona.
Our total spend on entertainment was $116, which also includes our monthly subscriptions. And if you want to know how we plan our travel budget for any destination, you can check out our free download in the description.
Next up, we're talking about dining out, groceries, transportation, and more. And be sure to stay with us until the end to find out how a month in Split compares to a month in Dubrovnik.
For dining out and takeaway, we really enjoyed trying a number of Croatian classics. For takeaway, we tried a cevapi sandwich, which is basically elongated meatballs in a bun that was liberally spread with red pepper sauce and kaimak cheese.
We also tried a traditional kale pie that we picked up fresh from the market, And we had a huge box of grilled meats from a local restaurant. Don't worry, we had some leftovers. And we also had a lot of fish and seafood, both grilled and fried.
Finally, we tried some Croatian dishes that are very Italian influenced, like pastisada, which is a hearty beef stew that comes with potato dumplings.
We found that the food scene in Split is fairly international and sophisticated. So we saw a few vegan restaurants and even had a poke bowl of very fresh tuna one day. So our total spend on takeaway and dining out was $327.
Of course, we still did plenty of home cooking as usual. We really enjoyed getting our produce from the local green market since it seemed like most of the vendors were also the farmers. So we really felt that we were contributing directly to the local economy.
For all other items, it seemed that there was a grocery store on every block. Overall, the prices were better than Dubrovnik and pretty comparable to what we experienced in Greece.
Here's an example of what $50 buys. Our total spend on groceries was $550.
If you saw our video about our road trip in northern Greece, you may have noticed that Gillian is the only one doing any driving. She's the driver in our household and I am the designated navigator / snack provider. However, Gillian only drives automatic, which cost us quite a premium whenever we have rented cars in Europe. Until now.
So in the spirit of self-improvement and frugality, I decided to take a driver's lesson while we were here in Split so I could finally drive a manual car. In just one lesson, which cost $25, I was able to get the hang of driving manual, and we've been saving a bundle on our car rentals ever since.
So this past month in Split, we rented a car a few times at just $17 a pop so that we could get out and enjoy the whole region.
Our total spend on local transportation was $170, and this also includes a one-way car rental from Dubrovnik to Split and a few Uber rides.
We have other regular costs from our life on the road that we share every month. So for fitness, instead of getting a gym membership like we used to, we've been running a few times a week and doing an at-home bodyweight workout for $0.
Data is another regular cost, which came in at $12 this month. And for insurance, we spend $140 on our international medical plan with Cigna Global, which you can find out more about in this video.
We always like to know what we don't include in our cost of living videos. So that's personal expenses like clothing or technology, any gifts or donations that we make, and any costs related to our dogs. Now let's talk about how our experiences and costs in Split compared to the month that we had in Dubrovnik. First, we'll talk about what they both have in common. They're both cities on the Dalmatian coast of Croatia with beautiful historic centers and lots of beach access. They're also great jumping off points for visiting any small towns around the region or for setting sail around the islands.
Looking at just Dubrovnik, we found the historic center to be truly majestic. It's been so beautifully preserved and we can really appreciate why it's such a huge tourist draw. Dubrovnik also offers good access to hiking. We could literally walk out of our Airbnb and within 15 minutes we were climbing up Mount Serd.
However, Dubrovnik is ultimately a very small city, so it's more limited in terms of activities and entertainment for a longer stay. We also found that the restaurants are predominantly catering to tourists, so they are quite expensive. There were very few dining out options for locals, and in fact, we only ever saw locals having coffee or drinks out.
Similar to the restaurants, the Airbnbs were also more expensive than Split. Although we did manage to find quite an affordable apartment, keep in mind that we were there in the low season, during a pandemic, and it was a pretty small studio space. Our total spend in Dubrovnik was just over $2,300.
As for Split, it also has a beautiful historic center, but there's a lot more city that has sort of grown up around and inside it. Also, as the second largest city in Croatia, it's much larger than Dubrovnik, so there are more people and shops and restaurants and just generally a lot more buzz.
Speaking of restaurants, there's something for everyone at every price point, whether it's a cheap takeaway sandwich or a fancy dinner out. We also found that there's a lot of choice for Airbnbs and at lower prices than Dubrovnik. We actually paid more for our Airbnb in Split, but we got a lot more space and it was in a better location.
All in all, we spent just over $2,400 in Split, which was a little more than we spent in Dubrovnik, but we also got a bigger apartment, more meals out, and lots more excursions.
Now we're packing up, hopping on a train, and heading off to our next destination, which is Zagreb, the capital of Croatia. We'll be there just in time for the Christmas markets, so be sure to come back next week for a little European holiday cheer.
In the meantime, if you want to see more of our time in Croatia, we recommend you watch this video right here. It's all about how we spend a typical day here in Split. You can go ahead and click on it now.
We hope you enjoyed this content, and if you did, you can click that like button to give us that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you back next time.